It is I, Skeletor, and I have pirated Shanieology's channel once again. Why, you ask? Well, unlike a certain showrunner by the name of Kevin Smith, I, Skeletor, like to keep my promises. And in the last video, I promised that I would do a reaction to the toy line from this Netflix Masters of the Universe Revelation series. So true to form, that's what I'm about to do. Now, before I get into the toy line, Shanie wanted me to do something. A lot of you have been subscribing and commenting, and he's extremely happy. And he wants me to share how grateful he is. Now, of course, it pains me to say anything nice and kind, as it feels like boils are growing out of my tongue when I do so, because of course I'm evil. But Shanie wants me to do so anyway, and since he pays the bills, I have to do his bidding. Well, at least for now. Until I conquer his channel, I have to listen to what he says. So, on behalf of Shanie, he wants to thank you, and if you're new, he wants to welcome you to his channel. Now enough of me being nice. As you all know, Skeletor hates being nice. Now with that unpleasantness out of the way, on with the reaction. Now before I get into the new toys, I want to talk about the old toys. Now this here, ladies and gentlemen, was the old me, 1980s Skeletor. Button yourself up, present yourself accordingly. This was Shanie's toy when he played with me as a child. Unfortunately, I never had this toy when I was in Eternia, but nothing would have brought me more pleasure than to play with myself. Waiting for the drum roll. Now, as you can see, it's a very well-crafted toy. However, not very opposable. The joints move up and down. There's no knee. Very stiff. You know, if you wanted him to kick or something when you were a kid, you'd have to do a drop kick or something. Or a punch, a full swing of that nature. He-Man was similar. Was the same, as you can see. And he played with this one a lot. As you can see, the rubber legs. Hold your sword, He-Man. What is wrong with you? He's got arthritis at his old age, so he doesn't hold his sword like he used to, apparently. But anyway, this is the old look. Again, not very opposable. The hips moved a bit, like that. Well, he can't do the action he was supposed to swing, but the rubber elastics are all worn out. So anyway, this was the old toy line from the 80s. There's been reproductions before. There's been the Super 7 toy line, which were pretty awesome. Shanie's too cheap to buy those, but he did get the new line from Retroplay. And this, of course, is the new toy line from Retroplay. Looks very similar to the old school, but has a lot more opposability, which was, as a child, would be more fun. It comes with a comic, like the old one did, and the art on the box is really amazing, and looks very close to the original. Here's Skeletor from the new series. Now, while I do like the look of the body and everything, looks very nice, very nostalgic, I'm not a fan of his face. Look at it. Why is my mouth open like that? My mouth is open, I look like a blow-up doll. Now it says Evil Lord of Destruction on it. Not Evil Lord of Fellatio. Close your mouth, for God's sakes. Aside from the mouth being gaping open for no apparent reason, like I'm shocked to be back in stores or something, the sculpting is really nice, and it looks very good, so I'll give it a pass. And of course, it's got nice artwork in the back as well. A great toy. Now in 2002, they also came out with toys for that series. Here's me, Skeletor. I'm not a big fan of the face on this one either. A little more slender, and as you can see, the two swords that go together to form one sword. Not sure why they did that. Another svelte-looking He-Man. I was never a big fan of the Power Sword from the 2002 version. One of the few things I didn't like. Well, I did like that series a whole lot. The sword was one of the things I did not. Orko was another, and the Sorceress was another. Not a big fan of those from the 2002. However, the series as a whole was really good. However, this version of He-Man has a lot more lean muscle. Not as much bulk. Apparently he didn't have enough protein. You gotta eat more protein, 2002 He-Man. Get out of my sight.
Pick on someone your own size, skullface.
Now, back to the originals for a second. Here's the original Evelyn. As you can see, she's got vivacious curves. Beautiful childbearing hips. Nice luscious behind. She's all sexualized, like they like to say. Apparently the feminists think that 6-year-olds to 9 are going to be fapping to this, because that's what 6-year-olds think about.
Tila, could you put your finger here for a second?
Hey, man, are you all right?
Ridiculous. And here's Tila, you know, before the steroids. With a snake outfit. And going back into the OG, here's again a very stiff, non-opposable Battle Cat, which still looked pretty awesome. I've always loved the design of his mask. Amazing, and his saddle was awesome. And of course, if you played with him, it'd be like that. Retroplay came out with a much more opposable version, which was also really nice. Now that we took a trip through memory lane, let's see what Kevin Smith, Netflix, and Mattel have in store for this new Masters of the Universe Revelation toy line. Say that 5 times fast. So they're introducing the toy line with 6 figures in the first wave. And as you can see, the first 6 are going to be Mossman, He-Man, Skeletor, and Evelyn. Now apparently they are introducing a variant Skeletor, which is Skeletor, which we'll talk about soon. And of course there's Battle Cat. The 2 missing from this picture are Skeletor, which is me in beast mode, and Battle Cat. Are you guys noticing somebody missing from this introduction here? 2 characters that should be here but aren't because, you know, the whole series revolves around them, but yet somehow Mattel felt the need to omit them for some reason? Uh-oh. Which begs the question, why? Why do they do that? Let's see. Who's missing from the toy line? If you haven't figured it out, well, I'll let you sit on it for a while. So let's start with this green guy here, Mossman. Now, apparently, He-Man's going to be around 7 inches. Get your minds under the gutter, I'm talking about his height, for God's sakes.
He may be huge, but he's still a little baby at heart.
He-Man is 7 inches, which is impressive. Skeletor is apparently a lot bigger, but they're going to be roughly around 7 inches tall, give or take. Now, let's start here with Mossman. Now, I don't know why. It's puzzling to me that they introduced Mossman in the first wave. You don't see very much of him in the trailer. And in the original series, Mossman was not there in the beginning. Now, this is Shanie's old Mossman from when he was a child. Apparently, he played with it so much that the arms fell off. And now we have men at arms and men without arms. Now, he's not Mossman, he's Stumpy. Now, I always liked his face. See, look at his face. His face is really menacing looking, and Beastman had a very similar face, similar mold. Funny thing, doesn't his face look a lot like old man Bill Cosby? This one has moss all over his body. It's furry. He's got a lot of fur on him. Kind of like He-Man's scrotum.
I like getting a tan, but this is ridiculous.
Now, that's the first difference you start seeing from the original to this Mossman, is this Mossman has absolutely no fuzz on him. Which, I mean, whatever. I like it, but not going to complain too much. Now, apparently you can see it's far more opposable, and they look a lot more like the newer Marvel toy line that they've been releasing lately. The sculpting on the face looks really good. To me, I actually do really like the design. He's got replaceable limbs, replaceable hands, and, you know, he's got the Groot tree thing happening. But I still have to ask the question, why do they start the line with Mossman? And Skeletor has come up with a theory. Mossman being introduced in the first wave is more proof that this series is going to be woke. Why, you ask? Well, simply this. What does Mossman represent? Well, he represents nature. And what's another woke target that the SJW community keep harping on? And that's what? Environmental issues, right? And what does Mossman represent? Environment.
I don't like people who destroy trees.
So, Mossman being a big player in this is another indication and sign that this series is going to be woke. Probably going to be some environmental issue that's going to piss off Mossman. He's going to go, oh no, He-Man, you can't transform because every time he transforms, there's thunder and lightning and creates too many carbon emissions in the atmosphere. That plus his mansplaining. It's problematic. There's no guarantee that's going to happen, but I'm leaning towards that's most likely going to be a plot point for sure. Alright, next here we have Evelyn. Now, this Evelyn, you can see she's got the old school headdress. She looks a little muscular. Now, I'm a bit offended by this. I mean, I've known Evelyn for many years, and I never once asked her to show her hair, and I never knew her hair was white. This was the first time I'm seeing her hair. I mean, I always assumed it was part of her religion, so I never went there. Well, at least the hair on her head. This one comes with a staff, very classical Evelyn staff, multiple different hand grips, removable heads, and a purse. Yay! She's always wanted a Gucci purse, and now she has one. So she can keep her lipstick, her cell phone, and apparently her steroid pills, as she's a lot more muscular in this.
Gorgeous muscles.
I wonder if she has a wallet with my picture on it. That's what I'd be interested to see.
Gorgeous muscles of yours.
Mattel, Skeletor is asking, does Evelyn come with a wallet in her purse with a picture of Skeletor? That'd be awesome. Now, I'm guessing with this character that she's going to remove her headdress at some point. When she takes off her headdress, she's going to become good and righteous, like Gandalf the White. Now, this is disingenuous to Evelyn's character, and I'll tell you why. Evelyn is and always was more devious and a lot more evil than even I, Skeletor. It's in her name, Evelyn. Now, Evelyn wouldn't join the good guys unless she had some angle to betray them at the end. The one thing I know about Evelyn, she was cunning and conniving. And even I had to look over my shoulder to make sure that she wasn't trying to stab me in the back, because that was her character. Now, for her to just join the goody-goody side, I don't believe it.
Not quite that easy.
Not for a minute. If she does join Team Tila, I would look over your shoulder every 5 minutes. She'd definitely help you, only as long as it serves herself, and then at the very end she will betray you. If she does not, well then it's not Evelyn. It's Faker Evelyn. Anyway, this episode is getting too long, so I'll have to leave it to be continued. Don't forget to leave a like, and subscribe to Shanieology. Until next time, I, Skeletor, am out.